Alright, we don't usually do videos like these, but this is kind of cool. This is for Paul Ericsson. I don't have my headset, so it sounds going to be a little rough, guys. This is for the amp we Frankenstein for Paul Ericsson. And his lid was really gnarly. I painted it, didn't come out too nice. So my buddy here at Joe's Auto Body and Parts for us, he said, I'll take care of you. So he's got the heat lights out. He decided to do, and I like the idea. We're going to go ahead and let it ride. A nice wrinkle finish on top of this, because none of these lids are perfectly straight. This thing's probably 70 years old, 60, 70 years old. So I'm going to get out of the way of these lights that are going to do some cool shit to this paint. And when it's all over with, you guys will get to see the last video. Paul Ericsson, check it out. We're doing a lot for you, buddy. I want this to be nice. So have a nice day, 7-3s, guys. Okay, finally, after many trials, tribulations, repaints, lid swaps, driver swaps. Good Lord, Paul. Here we go. The Varmint XL250 is done. I think our lid came out very nicely. We're going to put some of that, you'll see, I'm sure before this, you'll see in this video where we actually did this lid. It's done by Joe's Automotive over in Park Forest, Illinois. One of the best painters on the face of the planet, in my opinion. And then we gave the front a bath. All the air variables have been reconditioned. Now you notice we've got a lens in here. And when you key, that blinks. That's just going to let you know it keys. We did that because we revamped his driver circuit. Let's get this out of the way. And once we got everything inside, this is what we got. Now we put the one transformer over here on the back with a bond blanket in between the two. This is a metal shield in between two pieces of Mylar plating. And then it's isolated all the way around the edges. Here's our high voltage rail that solely runs our 6LQ6 driver tube that we put in. The other three are 6LF6s running off of this bottom transformer down here. Now, if you watch the videos before this, you'll see why we did all this. There's a reason. This amplifier put back to stock barely cracked 200 watts a peak. Barely. Driving the dog cheese out of it. We've tried moving the relay in, because I hate open frame relays. Anybody who talks to me knows. On a couple of these, we've been able to take those out of the socket, get a ice cube or close, a hermetically closed relay, mount it to the back. This amp did not like that. Caused oscillations, and I just didn't feel like solving them, so we reconditioned his relay and put it back in, and that took care of that problem. Every bypass cap in this thing has been changed. Air variables have been reconditioned. And like I said, we basically added an amp to an amp. Originally, this was supposed to be one little 6kV6 driving two 6LF6s. And in fine Varmint style, they had over here, this third tube, in the back, the one on the left, there were just holes in the, when it was purchased originally, the holes for the socket were there, the traces are there. But the transformer that they put in there is only made to run that little tube in these two. Well, when somebody added that third one, caused all kinds of hate and discontent, changed the cue of the tuning up here, changed the cue of the tuning in the bottom. That in and of itself will make a transformer, will make a circuit draw harder on a transformer. Plus, it was not budgeted for that much current. So, what we found out in the midst of playing with everything was, if I drove just these three tubes off the original transformer using my turbo, hit it with like 250, 300 watts of peak, it would go up to 450 watts peak. And the transformer wasn't straining, so my bright idea was, since it had an 8-pin octal for its driver, we sawed it out of line on the bottom, so it didn't see the rest of the amp. And we added an entire 6LQ6 Firebird 500 single 6LQ6 driver circuit to the S6LF6 Varmint amplifier. Now it's an oxymoron for all you guys that work on these amps. You don't see 6LQs and 6LFs in the same box. It's because they need two entirely different power supplies. Okay, so let's see what this guy does. Now this gentleman, in the previous videos you've seen us use our birdie, coaxial dynamics actually. This gentleman tells me he actually has a dozy. So we dug out a dozy. Okay. We're hitting it with a moderately tuned Connex 3300. Okay. So we are on, off standby. Now this switch, much to my unhappiness, doesn't do much. We did wire it up for a high-low power. It does just fine with it down on low. I'm going to tell him just leave that on low. When we key, what you'll notice is, there's some light here. When you key, what you'll notice when we key, see a little flash in there? That's letting you know that that circuit's just being active. It's not going to stay on. It's going to blink. And there's a reason we did that, because the LED staying lit was driving something goofy in our bypass rail that we made. So we just made it where, you know it's there. You know something happened. And it's a use for this hole that used to be a load for a single 6kV6. Now, if you when you see the videos from before this, we put it all together. This is a single 6LQ6 tuner. So now we're going to see on the watt meter, on the dozy watt meter, we're on the 2,000 watt scale. 2,000 watt scale, peak. We're on power. And now, 325 watts. Now, this radio has an unusually low dead key as part of the reason it's here. So, we're not really seeing a whole bunch on the actual dead key on this meter. About a watt. We need to bring the carrier up on this radio, really, if we were going to run this radio with this amp. But, with the radio turned down, hardly no carrier, we are still getting audio. No matter how you look at it, that's 3 1/4. Okay, the amp is now healthy. The band has been straightened out where it's not going to hurt anything. We got him a lid that didn't have a big hole cut in the side of it, and we did this nice matte finish on it to hide all its imperfections. Because when you get as old as this amp is, they'll probably have technology to do this to your face. I've seen some of you guys. You need it. Trust me. Anyway, I'm kidding. Anyway, so we got the lid redone. All nice and neat. So, there we go. What we have here is a Frankenstein. Not only restored, but Frankenstein to be what it should be. When you get these amps, these 250s with that small transformer, guys, don't go adding stuff to it without putting a bigger transformer in it, please. And once we get all screws on, that'll be nice and tight. However, I think that came out to be a very, very nice looking amp. Paul, I hope you like it, Bubba. There it is, all finished. And I gotta send the link for this to Joe Shalacy over at the body shop, so he can see what it looked like all put together. Something else, we got the meter to read right on this thing too. This milliamp meter was just all crazy. Now it's steady with your talking. If he drives it hard enough, this little guy will start blinking. That's telling him he's getting to the... Now normally, when this thing was built, that would light up whenever he talked. I have got a threshold on it where if that thing starts glowing bright while he's talking, he's hitting it too hard. If this starts blinking erratically inside there, he's hitting it too hard. So we did drive it with my Kenwood. I'll be honest, my 440 don't like it. We've already seen it driven with the turbo. So there it is. A very nicely restored XL250. Nice lid, no big dumb hole in the side. All done. We're going to box it up here today or tomorrow and get it out of here. So, Mr. Ericsson, there you go, buddy. I hope you're happy with it. We had fun doing it. Took a little longer than we thought, as usual in this place. But, once again, when you're patient, look what you get. 7.3s, you guys. Look out around South Carolina, because I don't know what he's going to drive with this. Or even if he runs this by himself. It's going to be a monster. All right, guys. Thanks. 7.3s. We'll see you.